high atop the pastoral center of the Diocese of Camden, you're listening to Talking Catholic.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talking Catholic. This is Marianela and Nunez, and with me today is my colleague and friend, Mike Bress.
Hi, Marianela. How are you? We haven't been on together in a little bit, so this is nice.
Good, and I don't know, but I feel weird about not calling you Greg anymore.
Yeah, it has gone away. Yeah, for those who don't know, there was a Christmas snafu at a Christmas party where I was called Greg instead of Mike, and because there are so many Mikes in the office that I've been dubbed Greg, so every so often that comes out, but it has been less and less. I don't know if it's just people forget or they like me more, which is probably not
you have to develop a name, I think.
I guess
it's Bress now.
Yeah, that's true. It has gone very much back to just calling me by my last name, so which works for me too. I'm good with it.
Well, I miss you too. I miss being in the podcast. I've been around, but
been busy, but our last, I guess schools-based episode of the last one I was on, we were talking with Mark Zamaro, our sports editor, but I was with Jen, as it was sort of a newspaper, story as well. So we comboed, which was a lot of fun, but it's good to be back with you.
Yeah, and it's now May. Can you believe it?
In a way I can, in a way I can. I can't believe it's already here, but I'm in ways very glad. I love the springtime. I love being ready for the summer and getting ready for the end of the year, which is something we're going to be talking a little bit about today. But
sure. And in the Catholic schools office, you're not the new anymore. So
no, that's true. We have Sarah.
It's weird now.
Yeah.
Like now I can say the new guy. Like it's like
I know. And I will say there's a new aspect for me though here that we can say early on, which is that this is the first time that I'm doing the podcast at a remote location.
Oh.
So I know you have because you're a podcast pro, but this is the first time that I'm doing it not in the vault or on Zoom. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, well, you're looking pretty confident right there.
I'm very relaxed because I get to hold the microphone and I get to kind of lean back with everything. We're at the Port-a-Call in Ocean City, New Jersey, which is a famous hotel down here. Everyone knows the sort of pink hotel on the boardwalk. If you're an Ocean City fan, we were here for our end of the year principal celebration, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. But so we thought it would be a great idea. Asked our producer and head of the podcast, Mike Walsh, if we could do it remotely down here, and he was all for it. So here we are.
Yes, and I think we have a very exciting conversation coming up in this podcast. It's a special day for us in the Catholic Education Office. Where we're celebrating with our principals the end of the year, and having almost gotten to accomplish a full academic year in 23-24, and so we always try to do something fun for them to enjoy and kind of like relax a little bit. And so today we have three wonderful principals that decided to stay with us to have this conversation and stay in for an hour longer. So thank you.
We made sure to let's note we made sure to feed them first, so they're happy
and gave them ice cream.
Yes.
Which was good.
Yes.
Okay. So who do we have here today, Mike? And I'm going to start going around the table with Principal Patti Paulsen. Welcome to the show one more time. You've been a pro in this podcast as well, so we are happy to have you back. So welcome, Patti.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. And Patti is the principal at Holy Angel Schools in Woodbury. And with us also we have Mr. Tom Iacovone, who is the principal at Gloucester Catholic High School in Gloucester City. So how are you, Tom?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. We're happy to have you here. And at the end of our table, we have Liz Mariani, who is one of our youngest principals in the Catholic school world here in South Jersey. And she is the principal at Sacred Heart School in Camden. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So what are we going to be talking about today, Mike?
Well, two things. And I think the first is that we're getting to the end of the year, which is exciting. I should say, all of us around this table, this is not a 10-month position that we're in. This is a full year position that for all of us, so the summer is nice, probably a little bit calmer, a chance to take some vacation, and the kids will be enjoying their vacation. But our principals and our office, we're open through the summer. But this is, sort of the culmination of the school year. We're heading towards graduations and end of the year parties and sort of the culmination of the year. So we're excited about that. But we also have three. Oddly, in listening to the talk today, which we're going to get to, three people around the table that had either a part in it or some connection to the speakers, which was exciting to learn as we went along. So we had the fortune of having the authors of Pheel the Love, which are Tom Burgoyne and Evan Marcus. Tom Burgoyne, for some of our listeners, may be a familiar name. He is the friend of the best friend, best friend of our beloved Phillie Phanatic for the Philadelphia Phillies. And they wrote a book called Pheel the Love, which we really felt was a great connection for our principals. And so we thought it'd be a great end of the year, trying to a little bit more relaxing, less business-like event for them. We had a nice breakfast down here, got to sit and look at the water, and then we had a very special guest come in. Very exciting that the Phillie Phanatic himself, Tom, was able to get his best friend to come for breakfast. I think we scared some of the principals and probably some of the guests who were here at the hotel who did not know he was going to be here. And then we had the talk. So
that was so much fun this morning. Wasn't it, guys? Can you talk about your experience with the Phanatic?
So every day in Ocean City is a good day.
Yes.
And when the Phanatic appears at the protocol, it is just an amazing day. So, I just found myself jumping out of my seat and giving him a hug. He just makes you actually feel the love, like their book. He just makes people happy. And you can be at a Phillies game and they could be down 3 runs. And when he gets up on the dugout in the 7th inning and does his moves, it's happiness and phenomenal.
That's exactly what I experienced with the Phanatic. He made me dance, Mike.
I was just going to say, you're bearing the lead a little bit. That
I wasn't sure if it was bachata, merengue, or bolero, but
And he looked right at you. You stood up. And you guys just went, and and that's another. We're going to get into some of the principles of the book, but one of the things that Tom talked about that's so great about the Phanatic is that he reads each person. Mm-hmm. He kind of gets a feeling for each person. We have 2 of our principals who won't mind me saying, because their pictures are on their websites, are balding, and the Phanatic has a way with bald people, and he had a good time with both of them, shined them up a little bit so they looked good for the meeting.
And they looked shiny afterwards.
They did. A lot of hugs and a lot of high fives. He even, in his pure fashion that he is, as he was leaving, he found a couple standing out in the lobby, and it was the woman's birthday for the weekend, and they were down here, and he pulled her back in, and we all sang happy birthday. Yeah. So that's an experience.
She's going to remember that birthday for a while.
Tom, were you surprised to see a large green mascot coming into for breakfast this morning?
Yes, I was. When I left this morning, my kids were wondering why I didn't have a tie on, and I explained to them I was going to the beach, and they all cried and said, "Why can't we go to the beach?" Now when I go home and show them a picture that the Phanatic was here, I'm going to really be in trouble.
Yeah.
But
you are.
No, it was great. Again, I'm a long-time Phillies fan, and when you think of the Phillies, the first thing you think of is the Phanatic. And again, I know we're going to talk more about it, but then the talk afterwards and the connection to the Phanatic and love and what we try to do within our schools, it was just a really great day. So it was great.
That's awesome. How was it for you, Liz?
Well, as a Philly girl, I grew up going to the Phillies, and I think today was just amazing being in the presence of a legend.
Yes.
Yep.
And there's a way that he just sort of like Patti described, the way that he walks in. I mean, I was standing in the lobby as he was coming in the doors, and he's just, here he comes stomping in, and he's ready to go, and he's excited, and it was just it was an incredible feeling, and it was a surprise. I mean, a couple of us did know that he was going to be here, and it's very hard to keep that a secret, I know for me, and then even to the point that I had to keep it from the staff at the hotel. I was standing out in the lobby waiting for him because I knew he was on his way in, and they're all looking at me. Is everything okay? Can we help you with something? Are you waiting for someone? Yeah, I'm waiting for someone. Are they lost? No. I said, that's okay. And finally I just broke down. There's a special guest coming for the principals, and the woman said, oh really, who is it? I said, he's large, he's green, and he works for one of our sports teams. And of course, that didn't take long for them to figure that out. But that was an exciting part. And then into the talk, which I mean is going to be our primary part of this, that, you know, then Tom came down with his partner on the book, Evan, and spoke in front of the group. And I loved your sort of first reactions to their style, how it went. You've all been here for these meetings, which we typically like to have a guest speaker or two come. So what was that sort of initial reaction, at least for the gentleman who came down and talked?
Again, for me, I thought it was great. I was a little surprised in his first story that he referenced Tom Iacovone.
And he said, not me.
So I've always heard stories. My dad's always told me stories about his relationship with Tom and with Evan. And my dad, for those of you who don't know, Tom Iacovone Sr. Actually is the one who introduced Evan and Tom together. And I've had the book before and I've read the book. So when I came downstairs and saw the book on the table, I thought to myself, oh no, do they know that my dad is involved in this? But again, Tom and Evan do such a good job of connecting their stories and their life to the message that they're trying to get across. And they do it in a way, at least they did today, they did it in a way that got the whole room connected. And again, I think that part of the talk is about connection and about your relationship with other people and trying to get that message across, which is again what our jobs are in reality. So again, I thought the message really came together well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the serendipitous relationship between them and between the different principals in schools was a major role too.
There was a connection with you, Liz, now that you're talking about how even was involved with Sacred Heart, doing some good work with the school while the previous principal was around, and kind of like stopped during COVID. Do you want to talk a little bit about that connection?
Absolutely. I mean, it's no surprise that Janet Williams was a huge Phillies fan. And so she had a connection with Evan and his organization. They would sponsor a trip for the 5th grade class, and it would be a camping trip to Camp Akanikum. And so it stopped during COVID, but once again, with the serendipitous connections and, meetings, we might try to revisit that for the upcoming school year.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. And the fact that, he was able to find the other principal here and connect with the school and get to talk to you.
Absolutely.
God has his ways, I think. And you got to connect and make that happen. And the other thing is, we have a principal here who's called Principal Patti, and is, such a Philly fan. As we're sitting here today, she has her nails done with, the Phillie Phanatic on it, because she was one of the few that knew about the story.
And I do applaud you for being able to keep it a secret as long as you. There were some veiled threats that we had for you that if you told anybody, we knew where it was coming from.
I was so excited. It was so difficult. So I put the little Phillie Phanatic on. I had a Phillies outfit to put on. And I said, I can't do it because they don't know. So I put the Phanatic on. And today when I put on that World Series ring with the Phanatic fingernail, it was amazing. But Tuesday night, Holy Angels actually has a night at Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we have 100 of our kids and families and teachers going, and they light up the school on the scoreboard. So I may call the Phanatic and see if maybe he could stop by for our pep rally Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
So, you should throw the first pitch.
So I think I should be. I may hit someone with that.
Yeah, we're manifesting it.
I'm a South Pole, so it's real. But
the point is just get it towards the plate. That's all you need.
But you know what I loved about today? The engagement of the principals. As you looked around the room, everyone was involved, and they were entertained, and we learned, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, he had so many stories. Tom had so many stories, and as you can imagine, in the years that he's worked with the Philadelphia Phanatic and the Phillies, but also connecting them to real life and real examples
and organizations
and specifically for us, for schools. I think we had Ann Hartman from Christ the King Regional School say something that even floored Evan, right? Just that idea of the fear and taking that away and pure love and just their examples of what the genesis was for the book, and as Tom mentioned, his father had an integral role in that, which I do feel I have to say that it was nice to have someone else in the room whose dad has like these connections that you hear about all the time.
You get it too, Mike, don't you?
In the public school basketball world and the Phillies organization, because my father works in the Philly for the stadium in the Phillies. There's not a day that goes by that. Do you know Neil Bress? That's such an odd name. Do you know Neil? Yes, he's my father. Oh, because I know him from this, and so it was very good to be like, oh, good, Tom gets it, But yeah, it was just very. It kept resonating with me, but I just felt the same way, Patti. I'm just spinning everybody.
And I just want to say, part of it is having these personalities as part of this big day for us was just an amazing experience. But there's also meaning behind it in terms of why did we bring the Phillie Phanatic to join us, in this principals meeting to end the year. And the Pheel the Love book, it's about love, and it's about connections, and it's about relationships, as Tom was describing at the beginning. And I think that's something that we try to do very hard in Catholic schools, but there's always some room for learning. And there's, they said something interesting this morning about good is the biggest enemy of greatness.
Yep.
And so we strive for greatness in Catholic schools. That's what we kind of continue to do. And no matter the challenges, that's our direction and where we're going. And I think some of the teachings of today's talk were around that. So I just want to hear from you. What was it something that really struck you from today's presentation from Tom and Evan related to, their work with Pheel the Love and their book and their life experiences and our Catholic schools, and how we can apply some of that?
A couple of things that I got out of the book when I read it. The first one was Thankful Thursdays. So on Thursdays, I can get a bunch of stickies and go into the classroom and observe a couple minutes and leave a note on the teacher's desk. Just, I'm thankful that was a wonderful lesson. Or I saw how you took that child and you helped them and you made them smile. Another thing that resonated was often I'm in my office and really bogged down with work. Get out of the office, that work will be there. Walk around the school, say hello to the kids, say hello to the teachers. That's what they want you to do. So the book was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And love is the foundation for our faith and for our schools. And I just think that it really resonated.
Yeah, absolutely. It's May, so it's coming to the end of my first year as principal, but really having the message of feeling the love and showing God's love to our students every day motivates me to go back to Camden, to continue working, and motivates me to think about how I can improve to be great for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like Patti said, they went over their principles, and they have all these principles, and I know a lot of their talks are for corporations, but it really resonated with me. The one principle is duct tape and hot dogs, where they actually made us duct tape a hot dog, believe it or not.
Did you win, Tom?
We did not win, but thank you for bringing that up.
The sisters won.
There were. I had to say at that point.
Let's make a pause there and talk about this before you go on.
4 expert males at the table saying how the order should have gone with the because there was a piece of paper, tin foil, and tape with the hot dog, and all of us were sure that it was paper, tin foil, and then the tape. And Heather Creasy, our principal at Camden Catholic, said, I think the paper goes second. We're like, no, we've got this. It's fine. And so we did come up with one of the more creative names.
We did.
But our table would have gotten it wrong because we had the tin foil on the outside, which apparently, for those of you, is a secret. When the Phanatic shoots out the hot dogs, the paper has to be on top, because otherwise food gets all over the place.
Yeah.
So we did not win. We learned, but that was a fun hands-on part of it, right?
You get a prize too, Mike.
Yeah, I did.
But the whole idea behind that principle is this: be committed to operational excellence. And again, kind of like Patti said, like the commitment that we show to our students, I think really resonates, because it's not just our commitment to the school, but it's our commitment to the kids. It's our commitment to the families. And again, we all talk about how our schools are families, but being able to really show that and being able to live that is what's really important. And they spoke to that within how they speak to corporations, and it was interesting to see how it relates to our schools. And I think they did a really good job with that connection.
Yeah, and I think, you mentioned something very important there where you say, it's about operational excellence and how we talked about it. Mm-hmm. And we talked about it in the context of, the Phillie Phanatic story with the hot dogs, lunching hot mm-hmm. dogs, and how they thought about it and how the idea came across and why didn't he just wear a hat like a chef hat or something like that, and how they took it to the next level.
Everyone's doing the slingshot thing. We're not going to do the slingshot thing. Let's go to... They went right to Hatfield, which was their partners, and I only wanted to be a fly on the wall in that shop when they're designing, because he tells the story that they designed, the guys at Hatfield got to design the first hot dog gun, and they shaped it like hot dog. Like, what a day in work. Here's your project for the day: design a hot dog shooter. And just incredible. But and that idea of trying, and going back to the good is the enemy of great, right? We could just do what everybody else does. We could just fling them in there, and it's a promotion, and we're done, and it's great. No, we're going to go above and beyond because that's who we are, right? And that's what we do. And that was an incredible lesson for sure.
Yeah, and definitely it's something that's part of our mission as Catholic schools.
Absolutely.
We want to do more with less, and that's what we do every day in and out. So thanks to the generosity of our teachers and our principals who are here because of a mission and not because of a merit job. So that's important and part of how we strive for that operational, excellence.
Absolutely. And thinking about that, how do you... everyone here at say, how do you believe you're going to, or your hope is for taking these lessons back to your schools with your teachers, with your parents, any interactions that you're going to have? What's your hope from what you took back?
So I'm looking at one of the lessons in Pheel the Love, and it's make it fun. Yeah. And I'm a make it fun type of person. So at the end of the school year, we have a pool party at Greenfields where all the families are invited, and they all come to the pool party, and we celebrate the year. Some other things that are coming up. We have a talent show, and the children and another thing in the talent show that they love is the teachers and myself, we all do a dance. So the kids like that. So I believe that as adults, as children, it has to be fun, and you need to make it fun.
Yeah.
And again, he talks about the seventh inning celebration and how
that was my favorite.
It doesn't matter what the score is. The Phillie Phanatic is coming down, and he's getting on the dugout, and everybody's going to feel good for that couple minutes. The Phillies could be down 10-0. The Phillies could be up 10-0. It doesn't matter. And again, in May, where we see the finish line as educators right around the corner, but sometimes May can be a tough month for educators, but also for students too, which we forget sometimes. I think being able to kind of go back into the school, rejuvenate it for that last month of the season as a principal, I think, again, they're always looking to us. So if the kids see us rejuvenate it and not just trying to get to the finish line, but taking every day and trying to dance and be optimistic no matter what the score is, like Tom said, I think that's a great message for us to take back.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that goes back to making every encounter count. Mm-hmm. And so going into the hallways, getting out of the office, embracing the students and seeing who they are as an individual rather than just a body in a desk.
Yeah, a number, right?
And we never do that in a Catholic
we've
school.
Never. Yeah, that's
classroom sizes are so small that you see every student as an individual.
Yep. Yes.
And the seventh inning celebration principle, which is what they name it, that dance and be optimistic. I think we live that as Catholic educators every day, right?
Absolutely.
We know the score is not always ahead for us.
Yeah.
And so we, being positive. And I think that I'm going to pose this question to you, Marianela, because you said it at the end of the talk, which I do think it fits in your world. To some of these principles in terms of retention, I think that idea of make it fun, I think the idea of, dancing and not worrying about, the score kind of thing, that's consistency too, right? They talked a lot about that. And so I want to know sort of what ideas did you get from the talk, being able to be an audience member?
Well, I think it was, amazing to hear the talk and see how much of a connection it had with the my world and what I try to do with advancement directors in our Catholic schools, talking about retention activities and the things that we do and making it fun and being a difference in the activities that we do. If you're going to do an open house and there's no happiness, then people may not want to come and join us. So do make it fun, make it different. Like Tom was talking about the idea of how the fanatic doesn't want to reinvent the wheel. Like they want to be unique, right? And so he's talking about how each of our schools, being Catholic, we are unique just by being Catholic, because nobody else in the education world does what we do in terms of teaching the faith the way we do and providing that Catholic doctrine. But also like all of our schools have a different flavor to it, and they're all unique, and I think it's important to focus on like what people feel. We've done a feel activity with advancement directors, and it's actually a lot of fun to do, where we think if you were a new person in the school building and you would walk through the school, how would you feel? And it just took me back to that exercise of how would you feel if you walk into Holy Angels today? Would you feel the love? And Tom and Evan were talking about how much they were focusing at the beginning on the part of love of their book, but how important it is to actually talk about the feel. Like, how do you feel? And making people feel those connections. So I would like to actually throw this question back to like you guys in terms of how do you feel the love in school, and how how that makes your job a little like easier, I guess, when you feel the love, and how do you do it?
So basically at Holy Angels, we greet the students as they come in the building. And everyone knows their name because they've been there a couple of years. And as they walk down the hall, they're going to see 3 teachers. And something that I also feel strongly about is my teachers feel the love. They get along, and you'll hear laughter in the hallway. And you'll see someone running down the hallway to get to their class because they were talking to a friend. Or someone will have something to share that they need support, and they know that they can come to any staff member in the building. So feeling the love is from the students to the families to the teachers, and it's very important. But I think that when you walk into the Holy Angels, you can feel the love.
Yeah, and I agree with Patti. I mean, I think that, all of our schools at this table, but also just within the Diocese of Camden at large, it's the idea that, there's a friendly face, and there's someone that you trust, and someone that's going to support you. Gloucester Catholic, again, we kind of make fun of it actually sometimes, how we always refer to ourselves as a family. But again, I didn't graduate from Gloucester Catholic, and now I am part of the Gloucester Catholic family. And I'm at this leadership conference with all these principals, and at the end, me and Deacon Raff are just telling war stories about Gloucester Catholic. Those stories though then turn into conversation and ideas about how we can make Gloucester Catholic better. And Deacon Rafferty's at a different school, but he's still looking out for Gloucester Catholic, just like he looks out for Paul VI and Camden Catholic too. He's having the same conversation with them. And I just think that sometimes within our Catholic educational system, people look at us like we're competitors. And then you come to an event like that, and an event like this, and you can see that that's just not the case. That we're here to support one another, and we're all here for the same mission, and that mission is love. So I think that's a great aspect to see when you come to things like this. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the principals here, but the staff members, everyone in our building, from teachers to the custodian, right? We are living out God's plan, and we have the right people in the right positions.
I was looking right down at that.
Yeah,
one.
I mean,
so
honestly,
true, yeah.
truly, no one at our schools are there for a paycheck, right? They're mission-based, mission-driven, and they love the kids.
Yes.
And they're here for the kids. And really just to spread God's gospel of loving one another. And I think through their actions and through their words, the children feel that.
Yes.
Liz, and how did you feel loved this year by your students or your staff?
God.
Can you describe
Immensely.
a few things that may have made you be like, oh my goodness, I am happy to be this principal of Sacred Heart School today?
I'm so happy to be principal of Sacred Heart School. Anytime that I'm bogged down in my office, stressing over paperwork and reports that have to be done, I walk right across the hallway into first grade, and I'm a celebrity. I mean, first graders can hardly contain themselves, but really you walk down the hallways and it's so lively. you walk through the hallways down to kindergarten where we had the Montessori program, and the students are up and about and they're working independently on different tasks, and it's unique and things that I've never seen in any other elementary school. And then you walk up the center stairwell into third grade and you pop in and all the kids jump up to give group hugs. It is just this unique school that I've never been in before, that we really try to demonstrate love and compassion for all of God's creations.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
What about you, Patti?
I've had a volunteer in the office helping me out because I have someone that is off on leave, and it's a mom. And she said to me the other day, after just an hour and a half in the office, she said, "You're amazing." She said, "I never realized between the parents and the children and what an hour of the job takes." But I mean, it just made me feel really good because I don't think people realize what you do.
Yeah.
And we do it because we love it, and we love the kids and we love the families, but it's an amazing job. It really is, and we couldn't do it without the Lord.
Amen. And you know, Mike, I think Tom may have a different kind of experience being in a high school level kind of
it's a different
school.
kind of
but
love.
So we talked about the different kinds of love and the way you kind of like show love to people today. Tell us how you feel love in high school, Tom.
Well, I don't have a first grade class that I can walk into, and I wouldn't refer to myself as a celebrity. But in all seriousness, I feel from the kids. Again, you know, as a educator, especially in a high school, you know, there are some low moments. You know, there are some really tough things that you have to deal with your students and with their families. But I always say, me and my brother-in-law are really close, and he's in corporate America. And I always say, well, you might not have the low moments that I have, but you definitely don't have the high moments. And again, just the hug from a parent at graduation or a thank you from the kid, you know, it means a lot. And we get those moments. I've had a lot of those moments this year, thankfully. You know, some years you have more than others. But this year I have. The senior class has been amazing. The seniors stop in just to say thank you the last couple weeks, and it means the world. And that's what you got to try to remember when you're having those tough times, that those good times are coming too. And we've had thankfully at Gloucester Catholic, we've had a lot of good times this year. So I'm really appreciative of that.
And I think something that I've noticed in this conversation that's resonated, and actually something that our superintendent, Dr. Bill Watson, said when he was making a comment talking about, you know, perpetually sort of being a 10-year-old when it comes to the Phillies, right? And we've all just mentioned kids and the love that kids show, right? I'm sure everyone's seen the trailer, but something that's been resonating, and I've listened to some interviews about the movie If that's coming out, which is about imaginary friends. And sort of the concept is that this girl is able to see all of your imaginary friends, but that the adults have lost that ability, right? And I think that this, coming back to this and reminding ourselves about the love and why we do the work, you know, is in the eyes of the kids, right? I mean, those kids, no matter what's going on, a lot, once they see you or they brighten your day, you brighten theirs. I mean, you talk about the celebrity, I think that's always, it gets me when I mean, Patti is always gracious to make us feel like celebrities when we come to her school. We get to take a picture with a classroom and everything. And you do, I mean, that sets me up for the rest of the day.
We feel the love, Patti.
Yeah, I really, and I just think I think that's something that's so beneficial in our work, is that we have the kids to remind us every day. And I just, that was just something I noticed from this table, that the kids are, and that's, again, the Phanatic has the best job when it comes to that, because the kids, you know, that's his bread and butter for sure.
Children are a gift from God.
Absolutely.
And I think that something that I felt with the Phanatic is when I'm around him, I feel childlike.
That's it. That's what. Yeah.
He walked in, and I felt like I was 10, jumping out of my seat.
Yeah. That's exactly.
That's what he makes you feel.
It does. I mean, there's nothing. I'm going to be 40 this year, and I'm watching him come up the steps, and I was but I'm watching him come up the steps, and I'm like, this weird smile coming up, like, here he comes, you know, and you're like, you're an adult, man, with children, you know, calm yourself down, but you can't, you know. And, I already have my hand up for the high five as he walks through. So there's that just, you know, that going into these classrooms, we are lucky and fortunate enough, Marianela and I, in our work, to be able to come into the schools and see the kids and see the results of the work that the schools do to bring kids in the Catholic schools.
And those are our best moments, Mike. I think, when we are able to come to the schools and see the work being done and interact with the families, interact with the principals and teachers, and see the kids in action. It's kind of those days make our best days of work, because we are in administrative positions where we have an office that's not very much visited. We don't have kids, and so
except when Marianela's kids come by, which is always a fun time for me.
Yeah, they visit. So I think when we are in those positions, we need to get in contact and get to the field and feel the love, and that's what we do. So as we're talking more and more about this Pheel the Love book and the connection with our Catholic schools, why don't we talk about the year as a whole? It's 23-24 now, and we're almost ending that in June, and graduations for high schools are approaching very soon. Everything is ready, and even for our elementary schools for the 8th grade classes. Can you guys talk about something from this academic year that strike you? We're now past 3 years of post-COVID era, and our schools are almost back to normal in most of the activities that we do and the things and traditions that we have in our Catholic schools. Tell us about this year.
So we had a phenomenal year at Holy Angels. We were concentrating on our test scores, and we had some really good teacher in-services. And one highlight, and this is going to sound a little selfish, that stood out for me at our teacher in-service was, we love Bishop Sullivan. He has been so supportive of us from day one. And he served Mass for all the faculty and the principals, and I got to be the altar server.
Oh, very nice.
I never had an opportunity because girls were not allowed when I was young.
Oh.
And I got to serve Mass with the bishop, and I will never forget it.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a story. You're give me the shields. Well, Tom, I don't know if you can follow that.
I can't follow that. But no, at Gloucester Catholic, we've had a really good year. And I give a lot of credit to our teachers, obviously, but also to our senior class. Our senior class has been fabulous this year. And there's too many stories for me to say today, but I do have two that I'll remember from this year. One is we have a senior student, Bella. I won't use her last name to call her out, but she is fabulous, and I had the honor to actually teach her Algebra 1 honors math her freshman year.
You had something to do with that, then, Tom.
Not much, but I remember from that year. I remember exactly where she sat. And she was a very nervous kid. She was always worried about, after a test, well, how'd I do? I didn't do as well. What can I do? And we kind of worked through that together. And she stayed very connected with me over her 4 years, even though I haven't taught her in another class. And this year, she has actually graduated from RCSJ, Rowan College of South Jersey, prior to graduating from Gloucester Catholic. Yes. And I was so honored that she invited me to come to the graduation. Now it ended up getting canceled and the date was moved, so I wasn't able to attend when she was graduating, but she came in the next day with all the pictures, and again, we've created a bond, and I think it started from her freshman year, and just being supportive and being there for her, and to seeing what she's grown into has just been absolutely incredible. Go ahead,
if
Pat.
I could add to that, your Bella is my Bella.
There you go.
Because Bella, after she goes to school all day and graduates from college and high school, comes and works at our aftercare.
Oh, that's incredible.
And we spend time together, and she loves the kids, and the kids love her. She is phenomenal.
She is.
So, congratulations to Bella.
She's also exhausting in the best way possible.
In the best way possible.
I was at
tell us more, Mike.
Because and Tom will do this much more justice. I've only gotten the sort of crib notes of this experience with Bella, but I was at the event where they announced the partnership that's being worked on between the Diocese of Camden schools and RCSJ, the Rowan College of South Jersey, and they honored her as part of the opportunity, and she currently has her associate's degree before she has a high school
degree. Can you guys pause for a minute, Mike, and say it again?
Yeah. associate's degree, a 2-year associate's degree from Rowan College of South Jersey before she's a graduating senior from high school.
And she was the commencement speaker at the graduation herself.
She was the commencement speaker at graduation.
She's amazing.
She's also in every...
We're proud of you, Bella. You should know.
In 100 clubs, and I don't think you have 100 clubs, but she's just the president of clubs, so she made up herself to have them. She was a student athlete. Yes,
she was. Yes, cheerlead and volleyball, and she was in softball for 3 years as well.
Bella's been to Sacred Heart with
the
Silver Service class.
She's very much involved in the service program as well.
Well, Bella, I think you're around. Like, if you may need a job afterwards, you won't have any trouble.
We're gonna just send her around to the successful Catholic schools in. So,
and LaSalle is very lucky to have her next year as well, because that is where she's
motivated student, if there ever was. I mean, talk about our sort of pillar: service, academic excellence, spirituality. I mean, she had it all. That's why I say it, because honestly, in a great way. I watched her speak, and heard all that, and you just go, okay, this is incredible. I'm not doing enough with my life.
She has a very kind heart, and you can feel the love.
Yes, absolutely.
What
was the second story?
So kind of two ends of the spectrum to some extent, and I'm not going to use a name because I don't want to embarrass him, but there was also a senior who will be graduating in a week and a half now, who kind of, I don't want to say the opposite of Bella, but from an academic standpoint, really struggled. And he really struggled for 3 years, his freshman year, his sophomore year, his junior year. And, he was in my office quite a bit from time to time. He was a frequent flyer. And at the end of last year, I had a meeting with him and his father, actually, where he assured me that this year was going to be different. And, kids say things all the time. But I looked at him and I said, okay, well, words are one thing, show me by your actions. And he made honor roll his first marking period back. He has been, he's only been in my office to come in to pretty much say, thank you. And I made a point to go up to him after the first semester and kind of say thank you to him too. And it was just a really nice moment. And again, it's one of those highs that you only get in education. So they're probably the two brightest spots of my year so far.
What a beautiful story. And I think, going back to our values and talking about that forgiveness, we forgive what you've done and we want to move forward and we want to support you in that. And I think, that comes to that second story that you're telling us here. And, there's there's always some time and there's always an opportunity to do better things in life, in everything that we do. And, even as an organization, there's always an opportunity to do better. And so that he's showing us that.
Absolutely.
And never giving up on the student, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean that tells, he didn't give up, his parents didn't give up. Yeah. He didn't give up on himself. You didn't give up on him. His parents didn't give up, and you gave him that push. Okay, I'm ready for you to prove me right. And that's great. Yeah. Liz, how about you?
Oh, there's so many instances, but just recently, as you know, Sacred Heart is rooted in social justice, and it's a strong parish support. And so with Sacred Heart, we have the sponsorship program started by Father Michael Doyle, and over the course of the year,
another celebrity?
Yeah, within Camden and abroad. But across over the year, we have support. And in May, we have a thank you week. So we have a sponsors week. And during that week, the first week of May, so many people came in to meet our students, especially after COVID. I heard that it died down. There was a reemergence of support and benefactors who came in to talk to the kids and welcome the kids. And the kids were so excited to meet everyone, and they had a lunch together. And then it culminated with the sponsor show on that Thursday night. And every class participated. And it was amazing to see even the most quiet student go up and perform, and the church was packed.
That's
standing
awesome.
Room only. It's recorded. I'm so glad it was on the live stream on the church's website. It was fantastic, phenomenal. I was crying. Students that may have challenges throughout their lives, may not participate in class, they were able to shine that night. Yeah. And families were in tears. I was in tears. I was just so moved by the spirit of the community.
Yep.
Of our families, students, and benefactors.
That's me, and what a perfect time of year, right?
Absolutely.
Just to have the culmination of all of that and feel that. That's incredible. So we were talking about the end of the year. And I do want to say, I'm just confirming this on the air, Tom, that we have the bagpipes for graduation.
We do.
Okay.
We do. Yes.
If there's, I love all of our high school graduations. I love all of our elementary school graduations
from Gloucester Catholic.
But if there's not a more moving moment for me, that I have not a single person that I know in that line, but when the bagpipers lead the graduation the class said, I'm doing the. Is there pollen in the air? Because so I'm glad to hear that. But I think we kind of touched on it, that we're all year-round positions, and I think some of our kids. I know my wife's a public school teacher, and her kids are always surprised that she doesn't live at the school. That's always like the funny thing at that young elementary school age, that you don't live here. There's not a bed in the back, But can you talk about what the summer plans look like for you in terms of what your thoughts are for coming up for next year? What do you work on in the summer to get ready for the next school year?
So at Holy Angels this summer, a little differently, we are having a couple camps.
Oh, very nice.
So we're going to have a basketball camp, a lacrosse camp, and a what is the word? Theater camp.
Oh, great.
So basically, I just wanted to do a little shout out to our basketball team, because we had 6 guys on our varsity team this year, and we won the entire tournament. And at some games, we only had 5. And if someone got sick, sometimes we played with 4. But they played with heart. I'm very proud of them. And I'm glad that we're going to be having some camps this summer, a couple open houses. We do a popsicles in the park, story hours, and different things to get families involved.
And what do you specifically what do you use the summer for yourself? Reflection or planning? What do you do for yourself? I do a
lot of ordering books. There's security money to be spent. There's a lot of things that I can catch up on, getting organized. I'm going to take a little break and do some reflection. I like to go to daily mass. And also, for the first time in about 6 years, my husband and I will be taking a vacation to Italy.
There you go.
That sounds fun. Oh, so glad. You deserve it.
It's been a while.
Yes. What about you, Tom?
So my summers are usually pretty hectic because my kids are off of school. Yeah. So you'll see the little Iacovones at Gloucester Catholic quite a bit. But no, this summer is going to be really busy at Gloucester Catholic because we have a new roof that we're getting put on the building. So we're very excited about that. But with that, we'll be getting all the rooms cleaned up, and we're going to bring in a new coat of paint and just getting that whole floor kind of re-energized and remodeled that's been closed now for 2 years. So we're really excited about the reopening of Alumni Hall with the new roof and kind of like a new step for Gloucester Catholic. So that it's going to be very busy, but really looking forward to that. So.
We really hope that the Gloucester Catholic community may hear this podcast to get really excited about what's coming, because that sounds like amazing and a great project for the school. I think it's going to be a great addition.
I do too. I mean, it's going to be a real shot in the arm for the school altogether. And I give a shout out to our alumni and our donor base who has really helped us out with that. Again, the school community's really come together, and I'm really excited to have it reopened. I'm hoping that we'll be able to open it like a soft opening, as they say in the business world, so that our seniors can get back in the hallway, because they haven't been in that hallway since their freshman year. Wow. So it'd be cool if they could get back in right before graduation. So.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And Liz?
Well, similar to Gloucester Catholic, we're going to do some capital improvements. We have a grant to repair our bathrooms, so we're not going to have camp this year, but Catholic partnership schools will be having camp with different enrichment activities ranging from photography, all the way to like hip hop history, right? So there's a lot going on, some great things.
What time is that and what day of the week?
It's in August.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
See you there.
I'm going to block off some time. So
yeah. But it's really exciting. And then for myself, it's really reflection on my first year as principal, maybe doing some reading and trying to plan for an awesome second year.
Good stuff. I think, we're so excited to have such great leaders in our schools, and I think you guys deserve some time off during the summer, like just to breathe and kind of like reflect on what went well, what didn't go so well, and what we want to change, because we're always with the mentality of, how can we be greater? And we don't just want to be good, we want to continue to grow, and that's everything we do every day in and out. And if people as parents may see things that they don't like or that they may dream of. We're also like working on those. We're trying our best, and so we take all support that we can have. So thanks to the generosity of a lot of our donors, we can do much more. So if you are out there and you have some money to throw out in our Catholic schools of South Jersey, we welcome that too.
We do.
That's right.
We do, absolutely. We're getting ready to wrap up, and I think we should kind of one more time. I kind of want to ask, from today. I know we talked about some of the principles, but that came from it in the lessons. But what was just one of the fun things about this talk or the experience for you that's going to resonate and kind of carry you through the rest of the day? In terms of the talk, the breakfast, the lunch, time with your fellow, your colleagues in education. What did you have for today?
I love being with my fellow principals. We talk basically almost every day, a lot of us, but they're just good, and we learn from each other, and we can feel the love from each other. And the Phanatic today was like the icing on the cake. I mean, I'll watch the game tonight and just remember what we did today, and it was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, mine will be remembering all the stories from the Phanatic.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, again, just hearing, even just how he became the Phanatic was amazing. And again, it's all part of kind of God's master plan. And it was just really cool hearing those stories and being able to share that with our colleagues. I also want to give a shout out to the two women who are with me. The Camden Diocese is a big family, and Principal Patti has two Iacovanes. Their last name might not be Iacovanes right now at their school. It's Oxley. But again, I thank her. Yes. So big family. And Liz, for those of you who don't know, is a former teacher at Gloucester Catholic, and I couldn't be more proud of her. So give a shout out to these two women.
We
as well.
are a family, aren't
right.
we? So lovely.
What was yours, Liz?
I mean, really being in the presence of a legend was
Yeah.
fantastic. And, seeing him up there and just talking about with such enthusiasm, and seeing all my colleagues have such great optimism over what happened over the year, over their experiences, is so rich and really makes me optimistic for the future.
Yeah. How about you, Marianela?
Well, I just, love to dance with the Phanatic.
Yes,
I'm going to have some good pictures to bring back to my kids, and they're going to love it. And also, seeing how happy they were in what they're doing, and how that happiness is contagious, something that Patti said earlier in our meeting, was amazing. I think we've been doing this gifted leadership program in our office, where we're talking about God's talents for all of us and how different we are in the talents that he's giving us. And so the Phanatic shared the story of how he wasn't happy with one of his jobs as a salesman, and started looking in the paper for a job, and ended up finding a mascot job, and now he's a very famous man who's doing a wonderful job being the Phanatic for the Phillies. And so finding that and understanding that God gives you something special that you have in you, and that you have to do something special with it. And if you are not happy where you are, find your love and find the place.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. I'm going to say, because you go to a lot of, I've had different careers, not being in education as everyone around the table has been. So you go to a lot of these leadership conferences, and they ask you to stand up, and they ask, I've never seen a more enthusiastic group when they ask you guys to get up and do, which everyone knows sort of the two famous Phanatic things are the whammy, which is the kind of like juju on the pitcher, which I may or may not do at home while watching the games. And then the sort of belly dance that everyone's famous for. But to see everyone instantly got up, everyone enjoyed doing that. Spoke to what they were talking about, right? That this wasn't just another sort of leadership talk for us. Everyone felt it. Everyone had the energy, and we got up and enjoyed it. And it was just a very cool experience to see that, because you don't typically, again, I've been at a lot of these, okay, I'll stand up, and Yeah.
It's going to be a really hard one to top.
Now I'm worried about what we're going to be doing next year because this is going to be difficult. Like we try to do something fun every year. But like I think we have to start planning tonight.
Yeah, I think we're
to try to figure this out. Maybe call Patti later on. She's been doing great. So we just want to thank all of you for a great year, for being present to your communities, and for waking up every day and doing what you have to do to get your schools up and running. And not only that, but also to think about the future and what you want to do with the communities that you are dealing with and how you want to take them to the next level. It's a pleasure for us as an office to work with all of you, not only with this team that we have here on the table today, but with all of our South Jersey Catholic School principals. So a big shout out to all of them who have almost completed another successful academic year.
Yes.
We would also like to thank Central Office, because without the support that we have from you and the knowledge and expertise, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, Marianela. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Excellent to be a part of a live out of the office podcast experience. So thank you for that. Everyone, please check us out on Facebook, South Jersey Catholic Schools. On Instagram, same at South Jersey Catholic Schools. Our website, southjerseycatholicschools.org. Our seats are open.
We are enrolling right now. So there's still some seats out there. If you want to bring in your children, come for a tour and come to meet the wonderful principals, the wonderful schools, and just check us out.
Yeah, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.